we've done before. So we're gonna start by asking a few questions. Really trying to get at who you are, why you're here, and what you love about BU, what you want to change. So I'll start. I'm Sandra. I'm a sophomore elementary education major. That's kind of what I love. I'm at BU to study education. I am a tutor at Trotter Elementary School, and I'm a senator for SED Student Government. I am living on Beacon Street in South Campus, and I'm from California. And I am here because I really think it's important to establish a strong community at BU, and that we could use a little help with that. So we started the BU think tank. It got passed through Senate on Monday, and we're trying to get it up and running so that we can work on it over the summer and get it started next fall. So I love BU. I absolutely adore this school, kind of ridiculous now. And so I am here to just kind of help it out in the short time I'm here. All right.
All right. My name is Patrick Crawford. I guess I'm the National Director for Co-op Initiative. I'm also heavily involved with Wandering Minds, the theater group. I love doing cool things, I guess. I'm an animator, graphic designer. I also like doing computer engineering stuff, doing builds, things like that, apps, and so forth. I live in the South. I have backgrounds in lots of other places, family moved around. I call Northwest home, that's where I go to. It's like Vancouver, Seattle area. And I'm here because I want to help groups do collaborative things. I've seen a few cases where groups have worked together and it's been really amazing. Make BU, combat, things like that is like a really nice combination of things, and it's great to see what the different groups of BU can do. There's so many individual groups that do really amazing things and helping lots of people outside the university, and I want to see that get even stronger as we build a network between those different resources. And I guess that's what I really like about BU, is that those groups exist and there are already people doing so many amazing things.
Production for Wandering Minds. So I love theory things. I'm West from Massachusetts. Here. I'm honestly not sure where this is. They told me to come, so I did.
Hi, I'm Sarah Franzblau. I am a sophomore in SED. I'm secondary English education. And I'm actually a tutor at 826. I don't know if you've heard of it. But it's an after-school tutoring center. I've been warned because my housing number was terrible. Never again. And I'm here because I'm actually the secretary of the English Education Club, which was just started last semester, I think. Yeah, it was just started last semester, so we're trying to get bigger and trying to get out there. And I'm also in Wandering Minds, on-campus theater group. And what do I like BU? I actually chose BU when I was 8 years old. So yeah, long-term goals. So I've always had a liking for this school, and I'm really excited to do the collaborative sort of. What's the word for it? Patty, what's the word for it? Yeah, great. Basically, more groups in one event. Don't remember the word.
Okay, my name is Navi. I'm also in the School of Education, majoring in secondary education, and I'm a sophomore, and I'm also in the English Ed Club too. I'm also involved with the Admission Students Diversity Board here at BU, and I'm also involved in a group called Food, which is a religious group. And I think what I'm most passionate about BU, or what I might want to change, is that I'm an international student, and I feel like international students should be represented in leadership roles, and I'm really passionate about helping them find the way to get involved.
My name is Rahul Srivatsa. I am an economics major in CAS, and things I love to do are I like playing cricket, tennis. I love politics, photography, etc. I live in West Campus, and I'm from India. I am here because she told me about it and it sounded interesting, so I wanted to try something new. And I like BU because It's a great place to meet new people. It's in Boston, great city, and starting to get just
So my name is Kim. I'm wannabe double major in environmental analysis and policy and Middle Eastern North African studies. So in CAS. I guess I love trying to find connections between those two things because like Middle Eastern North Africa has sort of been like my own muse, just like studying that, and whereas the more practical sort of application of what I like to think about is environmental analysis and policy. So I love finding the connections between those two things, which there are a lot of connections. So I hope to explore that more while I'm here at BU. I live in West Campus, in Conklin, on the floor actually. And I guess I'm here because I think there can be a lot of work to be done for BU in terms of community building because it's so urban and people can do a lot on their own, which is really inspiring to see individuals sort of step up. But there should be a space for all these people. They're almost like trees sprout up, like it's all forest. I don't know, that's a weird analogy. So I guess that's why I'm here, to be involved in that. And I do love BU, that's why I chose it.
Okay. My name's Kalen. I'm a junior in CAS. I'm a biochem major. I live in Beacon and South, and I'm from Georgia. I'm here because Joe told me about it, and I think it's a really awesome idea. I'd love to see BU have more of a community. It feels kind of hard until they're kind of spread out throughout the city, but I think we can definitely have more community too. That's fine.
So I'm Joe Fermi. I'm a junior studying biochemistry in CAS as well. And I live in Suite 1 right now. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. So I am the new Vice President of Student Government. I was just elected. I'm also an admissions coordinator, so I'm kind of involved there as well. And I also do on-campus research. And I'm really here just to learn more about it and see who really is here to get involved. I heard about this on Senate on Monday, and I've talked to a few people about it. And I think it's a really amazing idea that can bring BU community together, really help a lot of students and a lot of student groups. So I'm just excited to see where it can go from here.
I'm Jake. I am a junior journalism major. I write for Quad. I love a good story. And I live in South right now. I'm moving to Alston over the summer next year, which I'm looking forward to. And I'm here because I was at the student leaders town hall meeting called a few weeks ago, or I guess it's about a month and a half ago now. And I was just excited to see that there's going to follow up there, and it was interesting to see what that would look like. And I, like most people, have things I like and things I don't like about BU.
Okay, we're not gonna hear.
No, let's just
Yeah,
leave
it's
it
a
at
long
that.
list. Okay, that sounds good. So I'm Habib Khan. I am the president and founder of Global App Initiative, but yesterday officially I have knighted the next president. Santiago Beltran is not, he's national director. There's a freshman who's taken over that longevity. So Global App Initiative founder, I love it when I see people get better each day. I love it when I see other students at BU look at new opportunities, pursue them. We don't all know where we are right now, but when I see people find out a little bit more about themselves and what they love and get closer to that, and when they collaborate, it's a powerful thing. And that's something that I think that sets us apart as a school, is that, we're a little less intimidating to each other. We kind of like to socialize. We try to find things that we're passionate about and get together and make it happen. And we make a lot of cool things happen here. And it's not just one group, it's 500 student groups, and they're all amazing. And where do I live? I live in South, and I'm gonna be moving into Alston after graduation. I'm gonna be living, on Pratt Street, where I've been partying freshman year, whatever. Why am I here? I'm here because I'm very supportive of the True BU slate from last time or whatever. They're now the think tank or something. I don't know so much. I'm sorry. All I know is I believe in the people who invited me to this, and I totally butchered all that, but the thing is, people should come together, whatever way that happens, that's fine. and I believe in Cassandra, Salma, and Alexander Golub, who I'm not going to call Alex. Yeah, so how do I like BU? I like BU. I said the passion thing. People, passion, collaboration, good. Right, sorry.
Right. I'm Steven. I'm Judicial Commissioner. I'm from San Diego. I currently live in Hojo, living in South Nectar. Why am I here? I'm here to make sure that the Constitution is followed and make sure compliance is followed. How do I like BU? BU is great. Turn.
My name's Maria Hardiman. I'm a political science major. I'm a sophomore. I love being useful to others. I like helping people realize their ideas because I feel like our generation has a lot of ideas and not a lot of ways of getting things done. And so I feel like I'm good at doing a lot of different things and not just one thing. I live on Bay State and I'm here. StuGov kind of sucked me in this semester and I can't seem to get out of it. But I love the idea of, I feel like the think tank will provide a mechanism to relate to student groups that I think was missing before, and I would really like to see that put in place. And I also love the idea of collaboration. I think it's so much more powerful than discrete groups working on their own, and that it will generate more ideas to link up the student body and have the student voice heard more powerfully.
Hi, I'm Ola. I'm a sophomore at SCD. What do I love? I love a lot of things. Can't come up with something off the top of my head right now. I live in West currently. I don't really have a home for next year, but I'll figure it out. I'm here because I also really believe in the people who have created this, like Habib. Not a huge fan of student government as it is right now, so I'm hoping this will be, hopefully help bridge some of the gaps that they have, and I guess B is fine.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin. I am a sophomore in Comm Studies in the College of Communications, and I minor in philosophy. So a few things I love. I love the city of Boston. I love living in a city. I really love how philosophy teaches you to really think critically and analyze things. That's something that I never thought I'd get into in college, and now I love it. Especially tying that in with the communication side. That's really just my passion. And I also love when people get super excited about the things they're working on. And I guess that's why I'm here, because I'm working with a bunch of people who will call me at like 1 a.m. and be like, guess what? I have this idea, and it's awesome. And I love when people do that because I love fostering ideas and excitement and passion. And I think BU has a lot of that. I actually love that about BU, that there are students with so many different ideas and so many different passions, whether that be in the arts or in technology or whatever they're into. And I think the think tank will be a great way to harness all of our passions and hopefully bring together some initiatives and show BU, the administration, and other students around us what we really believe in. So I also live in Sleeper. I'll be the RA of the Japanese house next year.
My name's Alexander, not Alex. What am I? Who am I? That is the question that we all ask ourselves.
Okay, Alexander, we really have a limited amount of
Yeah,
time.
okay. No, I was being facetious, but I'm a painting.
You were making me antsy.
I'm a painting political science major. I'm a sophomore. I was, as of last night at 6:30 p.m., I am now the College Government President's Council Chair, and I am no longer the CFA Student Government Chair, president. And I love doing awesome things. I love trying to make people happy. I think happiness is the main goal in life for us. So that's why I'm doing art and political science. Why am I here? Because I came, here is in this meeting, I came to BU looking as an art student, so mainly as an art student, but looking for something in addition to that. I'm a big believer that art cannot be done in a vacuum. Similarly, I think that most things can't be done in a vacuum. They require research, they require collaboration. And I guess that actually ended up becoming the kinds of collaboration that as CFA Student Government President I've done, just as a student I've done with people. And I think that this is a way of really formalizing that and making it into something much bigger than just a couple individual students who want collaboration, but into something that becomes part of the fabric of BU. I'd like to see collaboration become like one of the first and foremost things that defines BU. That being said, I do love BU, I love Boston, I love the fact that we have so many opportunities here and that there is such a diversity of people that come to the university. That's really the main reasons that I came here. And also, the School of Visual Arts Department is amazing. If anyone ever asks you about it, tell them that it is amazing, because it is amazing.
Thanks, Alexander, for enlightening us. Sorry, I'm in a really weird room right now. My name is Cassandra Shabney. I'm a junior in the College of Arts and Sciences studying anthropology. I love my dog, Charlie. She just got a brace on her leg, so I'm excited to go back and see how she's doing when I go home. I live in Pennsylvania, and that's why we all summer. I had my first internship ever. Kind of nervous because I don't think I like the company already. And then here I live on Bay State. Right across the hill out. Why am I here? I am here because I believe in what student government can do. I've been involved in student government for 2 years. I was a senator, then I was in advocacy. Now I am going to soon give up my directorship over the City Affairs Department to become as fully involved in the BU think tank as I possibly can. And I believe in what we're all doing here. This is the most people I've ever seen in this room. Like, actually. And it's blowing my mind right now. To see all of you here, like, that makes me so excited for like what we can actually do, what we can accomplish. I know that all of you are here because you love BU. You do love BU. You believe in what you're doing. You believe in every other person in this room. You believe in our potential, and that's wonderful to me. How do I like BU? How? With all of my soul. I don't know. No, that's all. Just half my soul, as Suzanne said. No, I do love BU. I think I was, as a freshman, I was sort of questioning my decision, but that quickly stopped because I've met so many wonderfully amazing people here, like Joe Fairmay, apparently. So yeah, I'll start with that.
I'm Susanna. I'm a sophomore studying international relations. I'm from New Jersey. I live in Miles. Like Maria, I kind of got sucked into student government this year working on the True BU campaign. And this is probably going to sound really redundant at this point, but I'm interested in helping BU. I learned a lot about BU working on the campaign, and I've always been a believer in sort of grassroots movements and working from the bottom up and outwards, and I think we can do really cool things.
My name is Selma. I'm a junior. I'm an RA. I love people. I live in the West. Why am I here? Because I love BU like so much. I just love interacting with people and seeing what everyone likes and having some kind of common ground. And I think this is definitely what the BU Student Think Tank is all about, creating common ground no matter what different backgrounds you're from, no matter what slate you're from, no matter anything, and coming together as one and becoming part of this greater community. So that's why I'm here, and I like BU simply because it's so vast and it gives you opportunity. Opportunity doesn't necessarily translate into action, and that's what I'm here to do, to make sure that we are able to utilize the opportunities that BU offers and put them into reality. So that's it. Okay.
All right. Well, we're just finishing up introductions.
Yeah, we're finishing up introductions.
Marius,
Marius, want to introduce yourself?
Who are you? What do you love?
I just came for the free food.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay. Right on.
That's kind of just a plan for we finished introductions, now we're going to move on to the vision. And someone's going to talk a little bit about what the plan is.
Yeah. So basically, the sentence that we use to really describe the Youth Student Think Tank is it's a community organizing branch of student government. And the point of it is to gather student leaders, and leaders being anyone who wants to be involved in the community directly, and foster open conversation, healthy discussions about important issues across campus that people can't necessarily cohesively work together on. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone here complains about safety on campus. Everyone's always like, oh, the dining hall is not working efficiently. So let's come together as a community and discuss those issues. And then the think tank is then going to, or whoever, the central planning committee, which is the 5 positions that we'll be building a consensus on, will be able to really navigate the way through student government and make sure that appropriate people deal with it effectively. And really, innovative collaboration is definitely the biggest part of it. Utilizing all the resources from the student groups and all your passion and instilling that into something bigger. So, yeah.
Okay, these are kind of the ways we were talking about doing that, as she mentioned. So we were going to kind of take the town hall format and hold bi-weekly meetings with student leaders, and then take the time in between those meetings to kind of research the issues that have been discussed and analyzing the concerns to figure out ways to solve those problems.
So there's 5 different positions, and rather than coming to a vote of some sort, we really believe to stay true to the community aspect of things, to create a consensus. Meaning, we talk things out, and at the end come a consensus on who we see fit as being the central committee.
Yeah, so we have these 5 different roles that will each have obviously a different set of responsibilities, and we would like all of you to kind of contribute to discussing kind of the skills that might be necessary for those, and talk amongst yourselves and as a group to figure out who might be interested in fulfilling those. So, Yasmin, do you want to talk a little bit about those roles?
The roles in general? Okay. So, the executive counselor is basically the person who's going to overlook all of the areas of the think tank. And those 4 areas are going to be communications, finance, development, and policy. Communications is going to be split up into internal and external communications. So anything in terms of agenda is internal, making sure that everybody's cohesive and working together, and checking in on like the progress of certain initiatives we're working on, and getting in touch with everybody, coming up with bi-weekly newsletters so that y'all know what's going on. Communications externally is going to be all about marketing and promoting what we believe in and what we stand for. Social media, a lot of word of the mouth, but also getting individuals to really speak up for us, and also because we're looking to also work with student groups, that'll be a big part of it. Counselor of Finance is going to be somebody who is going to look after any number that has a dollar sign in front of it. And also working with anybody who's working on policy that involves financial assistance. So making sure that we are using whatever funds we have or we are asking for responsibly. Counselor Development really is going to focus on making connections within student government. The ideal idea is that we would create policy, create initiatives, and propose them in front of the Senate. And then the Senate would in turn vote for those. To get those proposals passed, we need Senate approval, and that's kind of what they'd be working on. Overall, we'd be working on making outside connections to individuals and to student groups, student leaders, administration, and making sure that everybody's kind of in constant communication. Counselor of Policy. Policy is going to be the backbone of this think tank, obviously, because it's a think tank. So policy will be about anything you want to look into. That can be safety, mental health, arts initiatives, financial aid, and we want to really thoroughly research everything we can and present proposals in front of the Senate that are that show that we've worked so hard and that it deserves to be passed. So those are the 4 people who will be heading those up, and hopefully it can all be cohesive.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is there going to be staff for?
Yeah, definitely. So
Do you have an idea of
anybody
how it
who
works?
really wants to get involved with either generally or with a certain aspect of the think tank, they can go ahead and do that. And I guess if you voice an opinion of what you want to get involved with, then totally, that's awesome. We'd love to have you. That'd be great.
So this is kind of the executive counselor's role as we see it so far. Obviously, this is going to be evolving as time goes on. But it's kind of the beginning, the idea.
Should we talk about traits? Like what? After maybe reading the description, which is more objective. Let's think about what kind of traits the person should have in order to effectively communicate with the rest of the team, and in order to have a solid working think tank. I feel like traits are very important. Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying you need to be a leader. Obviously, uphold this position. I don't think anyone's going to doubt that. But I think another trait you really have to have is to be, not to be a follower, but to be a member of a team. Because at the end of the day, this group of the VU Student Think Tank is going to be working with student groups and students from really all different areas of the campus, and you need to be able to relate with all of them and to really hear out everyone's ideas without bias. And I think being a leader is really important to manage those 4 positions under you and to manage the staff and the organization as a whole. But when it comes to listening to people coming to you with ideas, I think you really need to be a member of that team and just work directly with them as a peer.
So this past year, I think I looked over 4 or 5 different committees and the whole Global App Initiative as a whole. And as some of you know, there are 70 leadership positions that I've looked over. Kevin Minnick's one of them in the Education Committee. And there's a Biz Dev Committee, Marketing Committee, Operations, Communications. So there are several committees, and I've done this, and it's worked. So in order to be executive, you have to be omnipresent. And I see the 10 to 20 hours per week. First of all, I don't track my hours. I count, and I think every day I've spent 12 hours a day, roughly plus minus 3. So between 9 and 15 hours on a lot of days. So I wouldn't track hours. I just track passion, get more passionate about it. And
I think just for in general. So
oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. But okay, in general, to run this, you're going to have to be omnipresent, and you're going to have to be the face of this. Start meeting. If you're going to be a think tank of BU, then you have to know the presidents of the biggest organizations, the most active organizations, the people who. So if somebody is thinking, hey, the think tank should help with dining, they should help with technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. They should help with community service, maybe theater, arts, they should know a few leaders, a few of the topmost leaders within each of these different divisions of BU, because BU is segmented. Sometimes it's a good thing, but you should know the strongest people from each, the most active people all over, and that would take a high level of activity, the highest. The executive counselor must be working harder than everyone else. But okay.
So knowing the community.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay. Alright. That's very good point. It's very legitimate.
any other visions for this executive position? Yes.
This doesn't just apply to this position. I think it's for any leadership position you ever have. You need to learn how to divide tasks. Because there are lots of leaders who think I'm a leader, so I need to do everything, or they think that they are the best at doing it. And I think that I've learned over some of my minor leadership positions just like how important it is to find those people who are also passionate and who also are willing to give up their time to do whatever it is you want them to do. So I think for whoever we collectively decide to be executive council, we have to make sure that they know how to divide up tasks and to be the mouth of people. They know how important it is to have a strong team behind them. And they also know how to drive their team to get things done. Being able to inspire the people you're working with is very important. I mean, not to talk about you again, but like to be working with people who I didn't even know had the talents and passions they did, it like made me, I don't know, what's the word? It made me humbleized.
Humbleized.
Like, you were humbled to work with them? I was humbled to work with them, yes, Savannah. Like, people like Savannah. So I think that that's something else that's very important, is just to recognize other people and what they can do.
One question. So what is the relation, it's great that we're talking about this, but what is the relationship that the executive councilor is going to have with student government? Because student government has the kind of, and Joe can probably talk more about this, but I mean, I know you're not terribly involved with it just yet, or have that much experience with it just yet, but you know, managing all the departments, and that's, you know, it sounds like this is going to be more like thinking, and then how are we going to be able to hand off that work to Joe and to the rest of student government so they can really do a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff?
Well, on like a very like objective note, there is a timeline of work in progress in order to make sure that the executive counselor is on the executive board of student government. So that's the first key objective. But I don't know if there's any way that you wish to see the interaction between the executive counselor and the rest of the team working with student government.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely going to be an open line of communication between the executive counselor and the e-board. So our president and Senate chair are going to attend every BU think tank meeting. The executive council will attend every Senate meeting, so there's really no redundancy in proposals. There's an open line of communication. And obviously as an e-board, we want to know really as much as possible what's going on. So obviously having, Richa and Tyler there to be able to hear out these meetings will really kind of solve that, I think, and they'll be able to kind of communicate the big issues with us. But again, I think the majority of the kind of brainstorming and idea planning is going to be accomplished there, and then the proposals are going to be able to be brought to Senate, and then that way, if that idea best fits under, say, the Department of City Affairs, they can undertake that, and then, it's just a way to really streamline those ideas, I think, to the certain department.
Yeah.
I think, alright, so student government is one probably the most important distribution channel for the think tank. You definitely want the ideas of the people to get to the student government, because that needs to be an accurate representation of the student body, and this is one way to get that. This is one of many ways to get that, right? So the think tank, sure, you know a set of things that students want, awesome. Now some of these things you might not need necessarily student government to do something like maybe request Warren Towers to have like flyers about a sexual assault or something. Like maybe what I think tank should do is that the lower tier things, the things that you don't necessarily need student government for, I'm not going to go into more examples, but there's something lower tier.
Why go through the bureaucracy of presenting it and getting it accomplished?
Yeah. Establish more distribution channels that aren't necessarily student government, that can get, like, maybe establish relations with BU dining.
I think that, so basically like mobilizing the community for efforts that expand beyond just student government.
connecting the dots.
Yeah. So you want a network.
Yeah.
You definitely want a huge network.
Oh, I think that's
Absolutely.
crucial to be
Yeah.
able to even make student government work
Yeah.
efficiently.
And say you guys establish a connection with, say, like, I don't know, okay, so BUPD, pretend they didn't know who student government was.
Yep.
But think tank people did, right? So then they would know, and then, you know, student government, maybe there's some request you get for BUPD, and then think tank, they have an email address or a phone number of like the president over there, so like sort of a shared burden, I'd say.
It's
similarly.
like the intelligence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You definitely want to be able to have that. I mean, again, BU Student Think Tank is a branch of student government, so
Yeah.
I mean, whatever gets accomplished is really, you know, thanks to everyone here. It's not just, you know, one part of student government. And I think that a big part of having that open line of communication is that way, if there is kind of a thing that needs to get accomplished that students are talking about, and someone in Senate, you know, has that connection already, they're able to bring it to them. But, you know, if someone who's working with BU Student Think Tank has that connection, they can utilize that. So I think that's a really key purpose of making sure everyone who's involved with student government knows what's going on in the think tank, so all of our connections can already be utilized rather than work on forming new ones.
Every day I hear 100 good ideas, maybe 2 of them get done.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so definitely what I think the think tank can help do is like, you're gonna get those 100 good ideas every day. Help them get to their end. Help them, you know, make it happen. That's what I liked, what I saw from you guys before. You made a lot of stuff happen. Now I'd like to see a group that does that, and I'd like to see that from the think tank.
What was I gonna say? I think going off of what you guys were saying, it would be really nice. I've always felt like we have these contacts and they're kind of there. I would really love to see some sort of like list.
Yeah, like an actual physical network.
You know, just so people can take the initiative and go talk to whoever. Because I know I was barely involved in advocacy this year, and I would sit there and people would talk about like aspects of the administration and acronyms and people, and I just kind of sat there and nodded. But I think you can get a lot done by just giving people the right point people, and rather than just containing it within like certain executive positions or whatever. So having a list, just a list on like a website would be good, I think.
In general, like increasing transparency is just like the best, like that's the best thing to do. So you know who's what, like who's who kind of, depending on what you're looking into.
Yeah, and I think there's a struggle with student government is that from the outside looking in, you don't really know who to go to with an issue, you don't know who to really talk to about any kind of problem you might have. And I think that's why this is going to be so helpful, is because now students are able to go to a specific place, and then the BU Student Think Tank members are able to then delegate that to who's best to resolve it or to work on it. And that's why I think having that, again, I keep saying, that open line of communication between, you know, not just the executive board, but all of Senate and all of student government as a whole. That way everyone's hearing about it and can work on it.
Well, I think that leads us to communications counselor and counselor development, because they're really going to be the ones establishing those connections and using them.
Yep.
So do you guys have anything kind of to add to maybe characteristics, traits of
For anyone, honestly. Yeah, we don't have to like
one order, but yeah.
With the comm director, how are they going to really be interacting with individual student groups? Would it be like having I'm sorry, I forget what the other positions were, like some sort of staff that's just gonna go to these meetings and like talk to people or email them, or like is there a real mechanism to interact?
And so development is working with Senate currently, and Yasmin, if you want to talk about.
Yeah, so communications, in terms of like reaching out to students and student groups, it's all about putting content out there. I think that's the most important part. Branding ourselves as somebody that, you know, students will want to talk to. And I think you can do that in a lot of various channels, whether that be social media, word of mouth, but also have a rad website. A rad website, yeah. And, you know, maybe put some blogs up there, invite students to write about an issue they believe in, or put our policy out there that we're working on and say, did you know that X% of students believe that this should be happening. Really marketing ourselves and like allowing students to, it's being aggressive about it. I think like not like super aggressive, but you know, yeah, making sure that they can't not know about us. And that's a really big task. But collectively as a group, communications has to initiate that and kind of put all the gears together, but the whole think tank is what's gonna make it move. And yeah, I guess, I don't know, does that cover it?
To add to that, I think the communications person is really someone who's been very actively, pursuing these different leaders and knowing what's happening. Sure, the council executive and everyone in general should be very aware of the leaders of these different segments of the university and even beyond. But this is the person who's really going to help bring them as a line into it if maybe we don't know as much what's going on in one segment or what's happening with other people, and maybe helping channel things more specifically. So it's really about actively bringing people in.
So how about we move on to finance, development, or policy? I mean, I was just saying it's a very obvious, but I was actually just wondering, how would you like to be involved in this thing before you go?
I'm not really sure about that. I'm just kind of coming to check it out.
We have your contact information, so.
Yeah, at the very least, I look forward to hearing that.
That's, thank you so much for coming, I really appreciate it. Wait, how about you guys?
So I actually have like a specific issue that I wanted to like focus on. So like view dining, I feel like there isn't a forum between like students and that, like even just on that board. Like
give me your phone.
I have like not a smartphone.
What's your name?
Kim.
Yeah, I have your email.
Yeah, I know Maria too.
Okay, so contact Maria and she'll.
Yeah, totally. I would love to like really like push for that.
Yeah,
the issue is very near my heart.
Awesome. Alright, have a good night, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Just so you know, meetings in the future will be topic centered, so
Yeah.
we'll be like,
Okay,
yeah,
no,
let's
thank
just-
you so much.
Does anybody want to sit on the chair? Okay. Anyways, so, finance, any?
Maybe just go, if you don't mind going a little bit out of order.
Yeah, of course.
Thinking about development, I can't quite remember the exact description that was described before, connecting with people and whatnot, but I kind of see that as a more execution-centered position, something that, everyone almost, beforehand when we were first introducing ourselves, mentioned the word collaboration. And collaboration isn't just talking, that's an important step, but actually getting things done and doing something, setting up something that is intergroup, intersegment. Things like the combat between the different theater groups, things like Make BU, that's a collaboration that this council can very easily help initiate and make sure gets more people involved. So I see development, or maybe more of in general, I don't know if you think that is more fitting for different roles or if that's otherwise distributed, but I think that's a huge and important thing. And again, this idea of actively pursuing these things and not just channeling communications elsewhere. Again, this is a branch of student government, it needs to, very definitely be able to execute things.
Make sure that people know what we're doing.
Policy.
I mean, policy, I think,
It's more straightforward.
yeah, it is very straightforward, but also I think it requires a lot of, more of the grunt work. We need people who are just really excited about getting into files and getting into research and finding out as much information as they can about a certain topic.
Detail oriented.
Definitely. And, that's how people won't necessarily see it at first, but what we do and the content we put out, that includes policy, is what really gets people to notice us. And that really builds our reputation.
What's an example of something this policy counselor will do
So,
in one situation that you can make up?
Okay, so I'm going to start with like a meeting. So if we were to have our first think tank meeting in the fall term, we would invite students, individuals, or student groups, and they would say, hey, I have an issue. I want to extend hours in the dining hall. That's just a really random example. But I want to extend hours in the dining hall. And the executive council would say, okay, let's look into that. And I mean, all the other areas of the think tank would get on that as well, but the policy would be in charge of probably interviewing and discussing.
Looking through like the Daily Free Press, looking
Yeah.
through the different news outlets out there, and gathering that raw information.
Like what has happened before? What are efforts that have occurred, and why are people against it? Why are people for it?
Evaluating the options.
So almost like also keeping a historical record of BU occurrences.
Yeah. We're really looking to make sure that those issues are thoroughly researched, because some things may not be feasible in the way that we want to tackle them, but that doesn't mean that we can't tackle them in another direction, and so putting all the options out there and saying, this is number 1, this is number 2, number 3, or how many, and if the first one fails, you can try again with the second one, third one. It depends on how far you want to take the policy, but that's just an idea.
So I think we really covered.
It sounds like the difference. I'm just trying to figure out. So the difference between this and say like a department, I feel like in student government, I think that the main difference is that departments have a lot on their plate. From what I've seen in the past 2 years, departments have a lot on their plate always. It sounds like this would be a way to really kind of like have feelers throughout most of the university, and then like pinpoint certain issues, then really go way more in depth than say like a department would be able to do, because the department has to do a lot more of the grunt work. And so this way, a lot of the research is done on like a particular issue, and then it's handed off to Senate and the departments to
And they
do.
can just kind of follow through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like, because I feel like I want to really make sure that we're not creating redundancies, and we're making this.
Exactly.
We're trying to increase the efficiency and the productivity of all of student government.
And yeah, again, with departments having too much time on their plates, like think about the fiscal year budget or the annual thing that BU comes out with. That is this really difficult document that nobody really understands. Okay, why it would be amazing if if policy can tackle that and say,
and use communications to be able to
exactly, and come up with kind of like a really bulleted briefing of what are the biggest key issues in that document, say, and you would be surprised at how much stuff that you could figure out that really has a lot to do with maybe the administration's transparency. I don't want to be like skeptical or whatever, but I mean, there's so much that we don't know if we can even tackle at first. Like I think the whole idea of the think tank is that like this is an outlet for you to get things done that you never thought you'd be able to get done, and discover things you never thought you'd be able to discover.
I think it's because it works both ways, and how like student government can, like in departments can share an initiative that they may have, and the think tank can take it on, but also the think tank can gather information from the smaller groups that the departments don't really see, and then student government can help. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to recognize, that it goes both ways, is that if there is a proposal brought up in Senate or in student government in some other sort of branch, the BU think tank can really present that to students who come to the meeting, and then they can have an open discussion with it, because I don't think Senate really has that opportunity to have an open discussion with a lot of people in the community, where this, I think, clearly will.
Like move something like the proposal review committee and make it more interconnected with the think tank then, because then it reaches a wider audience. Or
What's the
I think
proposal
just
review committee?
advertise about that. That's not important
Yeah,
right now.
that's,
Anyways.
So before any proposal is brought to Senate, there is a proposal review committee for senators to see a description of what's going on, and so that they're more informed voters.
So this one's, I just want to keep things on time. So I think we've covered how, what, where, the ideas of the think tank. But what I want to know is how you guys want to get involved within this greater community. I don't have to like ask every single person, but the way I want to be involved is really take a very active role. I want to dedicate a lot of my time to this because I believe that it can work. And it just requires time and patience. And I'm ready to be able to do that effectively. And I don't really care what position I get as long as I'm somehow involved. Because I promise you I will get something done because I'm so passionate and so excited about this.
I have to go pretty soon, but I'm definitely interested in maybe not the actual executive position, but working for the idea development and actually executing things, getting ideas that we have come up with, and actually reaching out to those different groups and making them really happen.
What's your name?
Patrick Crawford.
I'm just gonna put names in general.
Oh, I have the spreadsheet.
No, I know, but I just like.
Just like, you know, education.
Okay.
Like that. It's good to meet you all, and I really like the direction this is going in.
Thank you so
Great
much.
things happen.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you, Patrick.
Hi. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course.
How do you want to
See
get
Patrick.
involved?
Well, I personally would like to nominate Yasmin for Counselor of Communications. She's already handled a lot of our communications and had to deal with not only creating a Facebook event and that kind of thing, but restructuring how we were looking at communications. And she's extremely capable. So I think she would be a wonderful counselor of communications.
Anybody want to nominate themselves or other people in the room that you maybe have just met but feel inspired from or blah.
I actually, I don't want to nominate anyone. I just want to say that what are the efforts to make this public to other students that might not be sitting in this room right now or might not even know that this meeting is going on?
So, yeah, Jasmine, did you know?
I think when we talked about it, a lot of those efforts are gonna have to start immediately in the fall term. I'm really happy that so many people are here, but it is like finals week and crunch time, and it's like, I definitely think that a lot of people who wanted to be here just couldn't. I really think just the external communication part, but also like really actively getting the gears going in terms of getting initiatives researched and showing that we actually have something to bring to the table. That'll really up our game and like show and make us more visible.
It's gonna take time too.
So
Yeah.
basically we want to start somewhere. So people in this room, I believe we just, assign the role for now, and then if in the future one of those does not work out, then we when we have a stronger communications department and we're able to reach more people, then we can get more people involved in. And of course, this is not just the people that will get involved, just these 5 people, but they're the people that are going to be here over the summer working, not necessarily, you don't have to physically be here, but working over the summer and dedicating their time to make sure in the fall it's already set. And then in the fall, we'll have like 5 people under policy and so forth. Does that answer your question?
Not really. So are you saying that the people that will be taking these positions would have had to be at this meeting? Or in this room?
We can nominate people not in this room.
Okay.
If that's something you want to do, and that's totally fine. We just want to start somewhere because obviously we're not going to try to get.
It's the last day of classes, and we need to get this started over the summer.
Yeah.
So we were on time crunch, and
You're more than welcome to nominate people outside this room right now.
Yeah.
But the voting will have to come down to a consensus, and everyone in this room will have to agree with that. So I think we should just only nominate people in this room. I don't think we should.
Yeah, and to just kind of talk to your point, it wasn't promoted for a long period of time, but this wasn't promoted on Facebook for, a short period of time, and obviously not everyone really could have attended. It's not possible with the kind of crunch time of classes, but, I think just to
500
get
people were invited, 47 were coming.
About
800.
800.
to get the things running, I think, the people who are here are passionate and will be able to really kick it off really well.
So,
then we just get it
and
going.
also the central planning group, like that's the core, like that's supposed to be like what you call leadership. But I think that a lot of the people who are going to be involved in the think tank won't, like there will be point people for sure, but everybody can get involved. We are not at all holding this back by saying, oh, you have to be involved in student government or you have to be a leader of a student group. Like you can do anything you can be involved in anything, or you can not be involved in anything at all, and you can come and say like, I want to help out, or I want to bring this issue to the table. So it's like no matter what, people are going to get involved, and also we could at the end of the fall semester, we could reevaluate like the kind of things we're looking at, or like
The whole
how we
point is
wanna-
that it will not be an exclusive group. It will not be formal. It will be casual. This roundtable discussion format.
Did you
So
want
that
to say anything?
I
any group is
nominate
involved.
Sandra for executive
Thank you.
Finance and like anybody else.
Yeah, and jump in with any of them.
Okay,
We're going to be
so
talking about them.
there are a lot of people in this room. I was just wondering, right before we started nominating people, we started saying, wait, who wants to do what, why, how much? Salma had said you wanted to spend a lot of time on this. You're like passionate about this. Is there anyone else who stands like that, like with passion and time and in this room? Because I don't know what
Oh,
else.
Cassandra?
Yeah.
I don't know who else here is like passionate about, because I'm graduating. Like I'm in this room, but I'm graduating. I'm not.
And I
like,
appreciate you being here even though you're graduating.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
like I'm just wondering who's gonna be here.
Even
next
if you
semester.
don't quite know what to expect from this, like we can guarantee that it's going to be something next year.
Okay. I'd like
Um,
to nominate then Salma for finance.
Yeah. I'd just like to say, if I was gonna be here in the fall, I would be all over that policy position, but alas. I went in the spring, I'll be whatever staffer you want me to be. And I will say, as someone who worked as the policy director for a lot of the people in this room, and did all of that research, was up that late and put in all those hours. It was probably the most valuable experiences I've had at BU, and if you have an interest in it, if you like reading, if you like research, if you like writing, but it's not like you have to live in a dark hole in the back of whatever. You get to interact, you get to generate ideas. It's a really great job, and I encourage anyone who has an interest in it to do it, assuming you have staff, because I didn't.
If we're gonna start off with like any sort of, well, I think we will start off with staff, but
one of the
a lot of people would probably be concentrated in
Yeah.
policy, I think.
I think it could be like a more equalized team. Also, I'm gonna be here this summer, and I'm gonna be helping whoever's, to be honest with you, I'm going to be helping whoever's going to be working on this, in some sort of capacity, probably not formal, because I'm studying abroad, but, if anyone wants help with getting policy off the ground as well, I'd be happy to do that. Basically, whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it.
Under policy.
With 4 stars.
Joe?
Nominate Cassandra for development.
Yeah, and Patrick's gonna be national director of GAI, so he's gonna have plenty of work.
I mean, he can definitely be still.
But you can be involved.
Yeah.
He's a really great guy. He felt like a co-president for me.
That's
Put
good.
in like probably 40 hours a week.
So I know you guys like separated and you want to develop your peer group, and then certainly just want to review. But is there anything that has sparked your interest in the conversation? For any of you, not targeting you or anyone in this room. Or if it's something just like you want us to help you promote your group or whatever it is, you can just also mention that. We just want to make sure that you're interested in what your needs are fulfilled as well.
Well, okay, so I'm a member of 3 on-campus groups, and I don't think they've ever overlapped once. And so, like, I think my biggest thing for coming here today was I was really drawn in by the idea of having, not collaboration, having joint events. I think that was one of the things that got me interested, just because I am involved in 3. I'm on an e-board of 1. I'm really involved in Wandering Minds, and then I'm also involved in Q, which is right next door. Sarah? Yeah.
You're gonna network. Okay, I'm gonna start you off with a text.
Perfect. So,
Your last name?
It's a fun one. It's FRANZBLAU.
Oh, okay.
Can you pronounce that?
And I have an H on the end. What was that?
How do you pronounce that?
Franz Blau.
What did,
Yeah.
did you say you're an ATLian?
What? No, so there's an H on the end of my name. But I think that's what got me interested in coming here today, was just the whole idea of having joint events and getting clubs to collaborate. Because I know, I have clubs that work really well, I have clubs that are struggling, and then I'm in a club that's still trying to get itself recognized because we just started. And so I think just being able to get the clubs organized, being able to come in and say like, how did you, as like a different club, get, noticed on campus, or did you guys have to deal with this problem because we're dealing with it? We don't really know what to do next. Like, we don't none of my clubs like blacklisting people, but if someone becomes a problem, we don't really know how to deal with that. And so, just being able to connect sort of that aspect, I think would be really cool. And then it would also allow, having joint events would allow people from one club to be able to find out about other clubs, which I think is super cool. Rather than having to go one by one through Splash, which is what I did, and that was a pain in the butt. So that was my main reason for coming here today.
I have a suggestion for that. So I've been a part of Global App Mission, but that's a technology group, and so we've actually formed a technology council, modeled after a little bit of what I thought entrepreneurship council would be. So there's a council for all clubs that have anything to do with entrepreneurship and even tech, but then that was too broad, so we made a even more focused technology council. So I'm talking to guys like Builds and other stuff, like Open Web, Digital Media Club, and a bunch of other technology clubs, CE++, now MakeBU. They throw a weekly hack night that starts at 8, so from 8 to 10, whatever. Okay, so there are a bunch of tech groups, and we talked together, and we threw MakeBU together. And that was a huge event. 200 people attended, and it was 24 hours, and it was really awesome. That was a collaborative event. To have food forever for 24 hours is kind of hard. Anyway, so that was one thing that resulted from that. And the Entrepreneurship Council, what resulted from that was they all joined together and made a bigger entity. BU Venture Boost, the Entrepreneurship Club.
Almost a coalition.
Yeah, so it's sort of, and I know there's a bunch of improv comedy groups. I'm sure that they probably talk to each other. And there are these councils that form, and I think that knowing that this is how other groups of clubs have dealt with this problem, this is some way that lack of communication is a problem, and you can solve it by making some sort of council thing. But maybe the think tank could, but really it's just me giving this suggestion right now.
And that's the kind of forum we want to have, where leaders who've had the experience and success can talk to newer clubs and make connections and not
The other hope is that
Sorry, one last thing. So Open Web BU is basically GAI is apps for nonprofits. Open Web is websites for nonprofits, and they're brand new. They're not even officially a club yet. And you said you had a new club?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Open Web does is it kind of feeds off of GAI's member base, and we help it grow. So by having this council, you can help the smaller clubs grow. That's all I want to say. So.
And I think that one of the things with the BU think tank that it has a lot of potential to do is to identify these really disparate groups. To say oh, you're talking about technology. Well, this other group's talking about technology. You're telling me you didn't know about each other? Well, let me introduce you guys to each other, and then that way, BU think tank can really act as a community builder. By bringing these disparate groups together so they can support each other, and that gives legitimacy also to the think tank and to the sense of a BU community because we're helping each other connect. I think that the fact that you're here, for example, we can talk after this because I actually know a lot of people in the performing arts community as former CFA student government president, so I could help you out with that also.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was looking for mostly, is because the GAI is big, so they have the resources to pull all these other ones together, and like none of the groups I'm in are very big is the thing, and like there's a lot of small groups on campus that I do want to get involved with everything else, and so that's why basically what Alexander said is that the think tank can act as the group with the resources to help pull the other ones together, because we can't do that, and it's really difficult to try and do it when we don't have the money or the resources or the time. So
Would you be interested in helping out the development side of the think tank? Because that sounds like exactly what the development side should do.
I mean, if you have
If you have any time,
yeah,
no pressure.
I mean,
Just sounds
I
like you're
can,
passionate about
help. No, I am. I'm passionate about it. I can help. My schedule is ridiculous, but I can definitely like be a presence. So.
I have you on the network list now, so
Okay.
we'll get in contact with you when we need to. Well, when you need us to be with. Anyways. Okay, cool. Sorry, I just moving things forward. Any other nominations, Susanna?
She's not here.
Oh, what the?
Well, she's going to
Morocco.
Right, never mind.
Yeah. But she's gonna be here this summer, so.
I nominate her. She's very nice. I know her from CAS. And their position's open and no one is like willing to take it.
Who? Do you know my who?
How
Hey,
about
Joshua.
you guys?
Oh, she's going to.
Anybody
She's
who'd
in
like to
Morocco.
be involved? If
I mean, not
What?
only as a counselor, but just someone who's involved in one of these teams, and I think that's what will end up
We
being
have
if you are interested, if you really are
policy
interested.
director until.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say the same thing.
If me and Susanna, we could do that.
Oh, yeah, okay, no problem.
You guys, what do you guys think of having someone work on policy, for example, over the summer, and then we give it to someone else in the fall? Because I know, for example, Maria, I think would be great, but she's not going to be here in the fall. So like giving it to her for that time, and then during fall we get someone new to work on policy. Just
Okay,
because.
but then, okay.
I mean, does
If
that?
you find someone
Yeah.
within the next few weeks, I'll just work for them.
Yeah.
So the thing with so I also want to bring up something about like finance. Is that's the least like hashed out position, and the reason is because we don't quite have money behind us. Well, we're part of student government who has plenty of money, but we're not going to be like, hey, give us like $5,000. That's like what we're about is like pushing policy and not getting money, or like exactly what I'm saying. So policy and finance, like, I don't know, I think they could be taken on at the same time, because finance hasn't exactly been hashed out, but if we can't find somebody for policy, like, then that's a problem. And I think we can, I'm sure we would be able to find one for a first semester. But I also think that we should explore that idea, because, I mean, personally, Salma, I think, like, you could definitely head up finance, but I don't know if, like, it would be enough for you to do. Like, I think you could, like, I think, like, you would be awesome getting involved in, like, financial policy as well. And that's something that, like, finance we talked about, like, them working closely with policy. So why not, like, have them work with policy overall, kind of have that.
So are you nominating me for policy? That was
Yes, I am
Okay.
policy. I'm nominating you for policy.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe more discussion is needed, but maybe even combining the two, if this group might not have its own finances, that might end up just being financial policy and other policies. But what I was gonna say was like, I forgot, what was her name? What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, sorry, I can't read.
No, it's totally
Okay. I have poor eyesight. So Sarah, you said something about like your club's not big enough, you don't have the money to back it up. But honestly, you can go to allocations board and like put together some funding or like a funding proposal, say like, hey, this is what we're trying to do, something like that. But also, in general, for the think tank, I think something that the finance counselor can do is help all the students who are coming in with good ideas understand how to accomplish them from the financial perspective.
That was the whole point.
That was the
in
whole-
my view, that was like what it was.
Yeah, no,
So let's
that-
put finance and
So, like,
policy together.
Basically, like, coming together as a community and like figuring out what money the students do own as a community, which is probably like $1 million, and really not necessarily taking over that as student government, but being able to pinpoint who like the networking, the people, the contact information that has that information, and being able to connect with them. And look, we have a good relationship. Let's utilize your money and let's make a profit out of something. That's I got you. That's like my.
There's a lot of money in departments and alumni, and that would be a hell of a thing to look into.
That's like less so. I think lesser focus on like the student.
Well, the alumni thing, I mean, that was
Alumni-
something I was thinking about before.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
I mean-
But that can like be put into place in the future. The Kickstarter.
Any more nominations?
Nice
Joe Funny. I don't know how to say your name. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay, fine.
But thanks everyone for coming.
Thank
Great
you
to hear
for
everyone.
coming as
Yeah.
well.
I'll see you guys soon.
Alright. Okay, anything else? Anyone else that wants to nominate themselves?
Nominate myself, but I'd love to work under policy in the fall.
What's your name?
Kaylin, Caylon.
C-A-Y-L-O-N.
Yeah, just to comment, something I did with the committees was like, I let people just join or find out a little bit about each one. People didn't really know which committee they wanted to join. They'd spend a little bit of time with marketing, a little bit of time with business development, and then find out where they wanted to go. I think some sort of system like that might help for this. Like, people might be in here, sitting in this room, whose names are not on there, and they might want to help, but they just don't know how. So I think, having them temporarily in something, I think that's what you're trying to go for right now.
Yeah, no, I think definitely. I think just after we figure out like the 5 core positions, like especially during the fall of next semester, people are more than welcome to pop into like different meetings and different like inner workings and figure out where they come and definitely. I think that's more for from the fall semester.
It won't be as rigid as it looks. Like it'll be more for the thing, especially at the beginning as we're getting started.
Okay, so like I guess let's come on a consensus. The whole point of this. Executive counselor, I don't know how should.
Yeah, are we comfortable with this? Are we
Comfortable.
I think it's a great idea.
I agree that you guys need to get started ASAP, so yes.
Are you comfortable with it?
Are you comfortable with being the executive counselor?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, alright, perfect. Communications counselor, first I guess did we even come to a consensus? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Communications counselor, Yasmin, first of all, do you feel comfortable, having this role?
I mean, yeah, I do.
Okay.
Exactly.
So confident.
Alright, so consensus, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Thank you guys.
Well, okay, so, I don't know how to do this, Lasagna.
Right, so I think can we say we're combining finance and policy? For now, people feel comfortable with that?
Counselor of Finance and Policy. It sounds so smooth. It like rolls off your tongue. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's enough work for you.
Since we don't have a budget,
You can also be like a tag team, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a single counselor.
Yeah, it's really important stuff.
And like we said, we want to concentrate staff. Anybody who wants to help out otherwise, like in policy. So.
Okay, so does everyone feel comfortable with me/Maria spearheading?
I'll be your shadow.
Oh.
Then, can I remember your name again?
Kaylin.
Kaylin, sorry. Kaylin helping out as well.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, cool. And then development, so I guess Cassandra and then Patrick will be your main man.
Sarah, do you want to help out at all with that, or?
Me?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
But you don't have to
You don't
make
have
a
to
commitment like now at all.
Yeah.
My schedule is literally insane.
No, don't.
Alright, no, it's fine.
Okay, Cassandra,
I don't
snaps. Okay. Awesomeness. So, congratulations, we have the think tank structure has been created. That's so exciting. I'm really excited the fact that like literally there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different groups, leadership positions on campus that have been represented even within this meeting. So I can't wait to see what can happen in the future meetings. So I think this is a great start. And I'm really excited to see what happens next. And I really like this networking idea as well. Whatever, I don't think that was like on our list of
Yeah, we have
focus,
lots
but-
of lists, but
yeah,
we
we'll
can
combine.
combine.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, this is, okay, no, it's good.
Thank you guys
so much for coming.
Do you know when the next meeting will be in the beginning of the semester and first
We haven't said that
second?
yet.
Let us meet together first. Let us keep it 5 weeks.
Just expect to get an email.
Yeah, guys, did you just want to make sure that everybody in this room who wants to be involved, like, get my computer to sign their names and stuff?
I don't
Yeah.
think I signed them. I'm just joking.
I mean, I really don't want to interact with you. No, I'm just
That's the new communications person.
I don't like interaction.
I'm all about communicating with everybody else but you.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Well, so
It's working out.
I never look before I do that. I've smacked people in the
The Matrix era.
I like how you just said it was your fault.
It was kind of my fault. Because you were distracting me as walking.
Do we want to stay behind and talk a little more? Do we want to?
Thanks, man, for coming.
Problem, nice job.
Wait,
I was
guys,
so
don't
confused
forget
with
food.
Well, now you know it. That's why I'm like, kind of.
Yeah.
I've heard your name, but like, and I know like of you, but I don't know you. I'm Yasmin.
I am Habib.
Nice to meet you.
Handshakes with girls with no hands.
Yeah. Yeah, so good job.
You just came because we were here.
I have to do a big painting.
Yeah. No, I was like, Alexander Golub invited you. And then I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Do you go to
That was
it
my
now?
question mark. What's your position in something?
I'm the College Government President's Council Chair, which means I'm going to be presiding over all the college government presidents.
Ah,
It's
so
also
now you're a chair.
I'm a chair. I'm
And we
actually
just sit on you.
Literally, people will just like
Sit on your face.
Yeah.
Let you do what you do.
He's also on the e-board now.
Well, sort of. We're not going to be going over specific policies for cabinet.
Okay. But
Yeah. I'm not going to do cabinet.
anyway, I just wanted to say something on like when you said I liked your concept because it's all about inclusivity and empowerment, like literally involving people, telling them what they can do, get things done yourself, and like kind of.
But this summer,
I'm sorry, I feel like you came in and you were back on lunch.
Yeah, I had no idea this was going on, so I'm just like.
Oh, you just come to the office? You just come to the office?
I was just congratulating you. Okay.
It was good to see you.
Does student government not share this event?
I'm excited. I want clubs for
No,
I've done it. That's all I want.
But we invited so many people.
Every single night.
No, seriously,
For
I'm
the
just
past
different
week,
clubs.
and
It's so hard.
Create a new organization.
overlap.
Don't share it on Facebook.
Like you, yeah, you're in.
All good, though.
And everything.
Anyway,
I
you
literally
guys
see you
have finals and
everywhere.
stuff. How's
It's like you're
how's
this
life?
too.
How's
You're
everything?
I haven't slept in 2 days.
So yeah, but I'm really excited.
Oh my
that
God.
Also joined
No,
events.
I had my final meeting last night, and I started it. I was supposed to prepare. I didn't prepare a goddamn thing, and Patrick made the PowerPoint, and I'm like, all right, I'll go with it. And I think I was like, what day is it? Like the camera's rolling. There's 70 people in this fucking room, and like I'm like on stage, like saying, all right, we had some.